Hello, welcome back to some red, white, and blue racing. I've taken a little break from my 1984 replay to play the 1959 Daytona 500. There's a really cool video on YouTube called From Sand to Speedway, and I'll try to put that in the descriptions if you're interested. But basically, I guess Daytona started out kind of like a road race along the beach. And so in 1959 was the first year they actually raced on what is now the Daytona 500 Raceway, International Speedway. And so it was a really cool video. Like I typically do when I get into a new sports sim, I kind of do a little research on the sport and didn't haven't had much experience with NASCAR, but been learning a lot, kind of like I did with my hockey and boxing and things like that. So, racing in 1959 was very interesting. So, the racetrack came from the Pioneer set that Play Games puts out. The 59 season was actually home brewed, and so I forget the name of the website, but basically they have every season, or at least just about every season that Play hasn't put out, you can find there. And I'll try to put that in the links in the description as well if you're interested. So this 59 set is quite a bit different than 1984. There is one name, as you can see here in the top spot, is Richard Petty, a young Richard Petty, racing along with his dad, Lee Petty, who actually won this race. He's in 10th. The real life, it was a photo finish with Johnny Beauchamp, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. And Lee, they declared Beauchamp, we'll go with Beauchamp, was the winner, but then after looking over some video and things like that, they changed it to Lee Petty. And so the first race here at Daytona was pretty exciting. So Beauchamp is already out of the race. So this is a 50-turn race, and I've already done 25. So I thought I would show the last 25. But on turn 24, Beauchamp had some clutch problems, and he wasn't able to finish. So far, we've got 8 racers out of 59 that started who are out of the race, and they're all problems. We haven't had any wrecks so far. There's only one trouble on this particular card, and it's on 12, so not a lot of wrecks, but obviously the cars were not designed quite like they are now, so a lot of red triangles, and there's actually, if you roll a 7, you get the star, but you have to add a problem to it at the end. So again, a lot of breakdowns, as people were pushing cars and they weren't what they are today. So anyway, I don't know if this would interest anybody, but it interested me. And as I've said numerous times, the purpose of my channel, is just basically share what I'm doing, and this is what I'm doing. So I thought I would share the last 25 laps, or not laps, rather, the last 25 turns of this race. So this set doesn't have yellow cards for TV. So the TV drivers, I went ahead and have a yellow chip there. We've lost one TV driver already to a mechanical problem. And I did that with random rolls. So this is actually as played, so to speak. So this is the actual starting positions for the race. I didn't do the game, the race week. So this one is as played with the original 59 drivers who started this race. And again, we are sitting at 51. So I had to do a couple concessions, like when you're rolling for a problem in the bottom group, I would roll a decider die. Basically 1, 2, or 3 would be this group, and then 3, 4, 5, or 6 I would start up here. So I have to make a little adjustments, but so far so good. Young Richard Petty has been in the lead since turn 23. Welburn got the pole position, and again, these are real life starting points. Obviously, the replay deviates from there. So again, I feel like I'm getting pretty good at this game, but I'm sure I'll make a mistake or two. So would appreciate anybody who notices anything to say so. My only issue with these cards are, and again, these are home brewed, is that it's a hard time seeing the numbers. That little bitty white on that light gray isn't terribly easy to see. So I've got my handy dandy magnifying glass. Let's see if you can, there you go, kind of see some of these numbers. And a couple of the numbers didn't match up to real life, so I imagine they maybe changed their numbers mid-season. So again, like most sports, things were a lot different in 1959 than they are now. But it's interesting, and so again, we'll see how this shakes out. So again, Lee Petty, which I'm pretty sure is Tom Petty's, or Richard Petty. I don't know why I keep saying Tom Petty. Richard Petty's dad won this race. Beauchamp, again, was a very close second in a photo finish, but he's already out of the race. So, with the trophies, you kind of get a pretty good idea who the main racers were. You got Cotton Owens has a gold. Lee Petty, of course. Rex White. Jack Smith has a gold. Glenn Wood has a gold. So, I think in the points, Lee Petty pretty much ran away this year. I think he won 11 races, something like that. Lee Petty did. And I think they said Cotton Owens was second in points, if I remember correctly. So, again, those of you guys who are NASCAR junkies, forgive my ignorance. Again, I'm just a newbie learning the sport. And, again, like most sports, I really like, the further back of that. So, at any rate, without further ado, we'll get going here. So, again, we're on turn 26. Richard Petty's in first. Glenn Wood is in second. Curtis Turner at third, Fritz Wilson fourth, Bob Welborn 5, Jim Reed 6, Tiny Lund comes in at 7. If you go to Wikipedia, it kind of shows you how they started, and it's really cool. They got some of them had sponsors, so I don't know if Richard Petty did. He did Airlift, and he drove a 1957 Oldsmobile convertible, so that's interesting. He actually led in this race for 8 laps, so very cool. You see it, Lee Petty, his sponsor was Newton Chappell Motors. It kind of reminds me of Dave Gardner when he was doing his 1899 Spiders. I think it was 1899. They were coming up with really funny sponsors, so a lot of this is funny, even though it's true. So at any rate, I got the Wikipedia page up on my other screen. So if we, if we have a sponsor, we might do that. So one of my favorite racers already is I don't know much about him, but it's Fireball Roberts. And let's see if I can see where he's at. I think he's still in the race, but with a name like Fireball Roberts, there he is. I think he's a silver, yeah. So his sponsor is Pontiac, America's #1 car. So in that video about the 1959, the first one at Daytona 500, the first Daytona 500 is done in 1950 style. So it's just a great video. But at any rate, we'll get started. Turn 26, so we get a 5-8, so that's going to be the bottom group. An 8 is a problem. So again, that's big deal here in 1959 racing is you got problems. So again, I'll roll the decider dice, sort of 1, 2, or 3 will be this group. 3, 4, or 5 will go up there. So we get a 3, so it'll be this group of bottom. So let's see, we'll do our finder rather. We got a 54 in the bottom group. Is driver number 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And that'll be Bob Potter with a problem. So we'll see what Bob's problem is. That's a 25. Cooling problem, roll for repair. And he's got an E, and we're in the middle third of the race, so he is automatically out. So again, number 9 falls out with a problem, which is all the previous 8 who are out of this race have done the exact same thing with different various problems, of course. Let's see, 25. I like to write down the notes here. So that was a cooling problem, it says. All right, so let's see. His number is 24, I'm pretty sure. Bob Potter's 24. Yep. So pardon me, I'm a score keeper, no matter what my game is. So he had a problem, which was on the chart. Cooling. Matter of fact, the last guy out, number 81, which was Bernie Hedges, he had two problems in one turn. So the first one he was able to withstand. The second one he hit the wall and was not able to withstand. So turn 26. So that'll be it for Potter. He has some cooling problems. Not able to continue. So Fireball Roberts moves up to 35. My favorite racer. Gotta love a name like Fireball. I think he actually led the race, and then he ended up having some mechanical problems in the real life drama that unfolded. All right, so 26 is over. So we've got a pit stop turn here on 27. So we get a 4, so that will be the middle group. And we get a 2 and a 5, so they will switch. So Curtis Turner and Jim Reed switch. Lee Petty's going to be dropped down to 16. And then we will roll for our fast pits. So Brownie King needs a 5, gets a 10. Cotton Owens needs an 8. He gets a 7, so Cotton will get a chip, a performance chip. Larry Frank needs a 5, gets a 10. Lee Petty needs a 9. He gets a 4, so that'll move him up here when we reshuffle. Marvin Panch, again, I'm probably pronouncing some of these wrong, needs a 4. He got a 6. Rex White needs an 8. He gets a 5. Junior Johnson, of course, we know him. He was the owner of, in my 84, pretty sure it's the same guy, was the owner of Darrell Waltrip's and I can't remember, number 12. I remember his number. But so and I was watching one video. I can't remember what race it was in 1984, but he was actually the pit crew leader. I forget the technical term, but he was out with some kind of problem, and Junior Johnson was actually the pit crew chief for number 12, Bonnet. I believe it was Bonnet. So anyway, Junior Johnson here, he needs a 5. And he gets an 11, no go. Joe Weatherly gets a 5, or needs a 5. He gets a 7. Dick Jocelyn needs a 2. He gets a 7. Dick Freeman needs a 3. He gets a 5. Billy Carden needs a 7, and he gets a 5, so that'll give him 2 chips. And then lastly, Jimmy Thompson needs an 8. He gets a 3. So I always do the 2 chips ahead of the 1 chips. So these guys will move down. The Petty will move back to 11th. And then, what did I just do? Cotton Owens, yeah. I think it was Cotton Owens. For some reason, this always throws me just a little bit, so I may have missed something there, but I think that's where we were. Okay. And then lastly, on a pit turn, we roll to see if there's somebody who will challenge the top group. So it's number 6, and he rolled a 5, and he got a 4. That's Tiny Lund, and he has a 4 gas pedal, so that's not enough to overtake Petty. And that will do it for pit turn number 27. All right. Got 28 coming up. Turn 28. Make sure I got everything where I need to be. All right, so that's a 1-5. So that'll be the top group. I keep moving the dice. A 5 is a TV. All our TV guys are down here. That's just the way they rolled, so there's nobody in the TV group. So that would be nothing going on that turn. A 4-9. So a 4 is the middle group. A 9 is control. And in this set, they don't seem to be as many people with as many of the qualities. So Larry Frank has control, so he's got a 4 on his pedal. And he gets a 5, so that will not be enough. The next control is Junior Johnson, and he's got a 5 on his pedal, but he has the yellow triangle, so a 6 means he's going to have a problem. So he gets a 4. He's going after number 1. He rolled a 4. And, a new rule that I just found out that I've been missing is that if they have the quality with a star, they'll get 2 break points, again, with 5 being the max. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So Glenn Wood does have the double control, so that's just enough to hold off Junior Johnson. So Junior Johnson not able to overtake Glenn Wood. So the next control is Dick Freeman. He's got a 2 on his gas pedal. He rolls a 6, so nothing going there. Cotton Owens has the control. He has a 4 on his gas pedal. And he gets a 5, so not able to move up. Lee Petty has a 5 on his gas pedal. He gets a 1. He gets a 5 going after Curtis Turner, and he rolled a 6, so that's an automatic. So Lee Petty will advance to number 6, not have to use his chip. All right, so Rex White is double control. He's got a 5 on his pedal. And so he rolls a 6. So now, when they have double control, this is just the way I do it. Feel free to comment if you do it different. But if they have double control and a chip, I always, if they don't succeed on the first one, I don't let them use the chip till the second one. So in other words, if they've got double, I don't let them use the chip on the first one and then move up on their second one. So again, they have to succeed or fail on their first effort, and then if they don't succeed, I go to the second one. If that one doesn't succeed, then they can use the chip. So that's how I do it. So anyway, he rolls a 6, so he's not going to succeed on that one. He gets a 5, which is good, going after number 3 with a 4, and that's going to be plenty to beat Fritz Wilson. And again, he won't have to use his chip, so he will move to number 4. Rex White will. All right, so the next guy with control is Jimmy Thompson. He's got a 3 on his gas pedal. And he rolls a 1, going after 6 with a 6. 6 always wins, so Jimmy Thompson will just move up 1 spot, even though he's in the next group. And he will hang on to both of his chips, so he's setting up pretty good there. And so that'll do it for turn number 29. So far, no wrecks, no yellow flags. Said just a lot of problems. All right, a 1-6, top group. 6 is skill. Let's see. Wow, nobody has the skill in the top group. Let's double check that. I'm pretty sure the skill is down here. Yep, it is. Yep, not a soul. So turn 30 is uneventful. Turn 31. That's a 4-11. That's the middle group. 11 is a smart. So let's see. Brownie King has the smart, so he's got a 3 on his pedal. He does have the yellow triangle, and he gets a 4, so not able to pass the brake check, and he doesn't have a problem. So again, we're looking for the smart. Smart. Dick Freeman has the smart. He has a 2 on his pedal. He rolls triples, so that's going to be a problem for Mr. Freeman. Let's see what problem he has. A 22. That's a brake problem. Roll for repair. He's a D, so 1 to 3 is all he can do, and he gets a 6. So that'll do it for Dick Freeman. So we're down to 49. Let's see, so Freeman's number is 29. He got a problem due to triples. Yep. A brake problem. And we're on turn 31. So Dick Freeman's out of the race. So we're looking for Smart. So the next Smart is Fritz. Now he has the red triangle, so if he doesn't pass his brake check, he's automatically out. And he gets a 3, so he's able to stay in. He gets a 2. A 2 on the blue is not going to be enough to surpass Jim Reed. And then that's the last one in the middle group with the Smart. So that'll do it for turn 31. And that wasn't a trouble, or a yellow flag rather. So we have to roll to see who moves up. Bobby Johns needs a 3, and he gets a 3. So Bobby Johns will move up. So yeah, this is it's very interesting and fun. It's quite a bit different. I mean, it's amazing how racing was different in ¡59 from '84, and how the game represents that. I mean, it's just really cool how that they're able to, you get the feel that this is not '84. So I usually fast forward this, but I'm already about done now, so bear with me. Again, I don't know how interesting this is, but I thought I'd share nonetheless. All right, so Roy Turner is able to move into the first bottom group. All right, so turn 32. We got 2 more laps before we're in the third part of this race. We get a 1-4. That's the top group. 4 is Reflex. All right, who has the Reflex? Lee Petty has the Reflex. He's going after his son, Richard. How about that? Family feud here. I always wondered how those guys do that, who have, because racing is such a dangerous sport, and how, you can, if that's your son in that car and you're challenging, for that position, that would be tough. All right, so he gets a 4, 5, 6, and that's going to be enough to overtake Richard and keep his chip to boot. So Lee Petty in first place for the first time. So that's turn, what are we on, 20 or 32? And I forget his number, 42. Yeah, he was just one below. So Lee Petty in first place for the first time. See if he can stay there through this turn. So we're looking for Reflex. So Bob Welburn has it. He's got a 5. He has some interesting cards. He's got a 5 pedal, but he has the red triangle. So and he gets a 6. So Bob Welburn is out of the race. So if you miss a gas check with a red triangle, you are automatically out. So Bob Welburn is 49. He will end up 49th in the race. So he is out with a problem with the red triangle on turn 32. So Bob Welburn, another mechanical fatality. So 4, again, we're doing the Reflex. So Rex White, he's got a 5. Let's see, what does he need to surpass Petty? We're doing the Reflex, so he needs a 6 to pass Petty. And he rolls triples. Oh, no. And you can't use the blue chip to overcome a problem. You can for a wreck or trouble, but not for a problem. So Rex White is in trouble here. Let's see what happens. 21, cut tire causes wreck. Now that's one thing I'm wondering. When it says causes wreck, do you do a trouble? I don't do it because it doesn't say trouble. So when I see that, I always assume that it's just the person involved alone. I think that's how it goes, but if you guys know differently, say so. So he's out of the race with a yellow flag. All right, so that's Rex White is number not a 4, maybe? Yeah, he's 4. So 4, and he's out with a problem. Triples. And what happened? 21, cut tire. Cut tire. Wreck. He was in 4th at the time. We are in turn 32. And that'll give us our first yellow flag. All right. Now, if I remember correctly, when you roll triples during a check and you get the yellow flag, you stop. There's no more checks. So I'm pretty sure I read that in the rules. So that'll be the end of that turn. Lost two more. So Lee Petty is able to take over. Richard Petty will move down to third. Jimmy Thompson down to number 5. And on a yellow, everybody just moves up. So Tiny Lund will be 6. Bill Carden with his 2 performance chips will move into 7. So let me pause this. This is going to take some time to move everybody up. Okay, so now we're back. See, that was turn 32. 33 was the yellow flag. So we are now into the third section and last section of this race on turn 34. Here we go. That's a 2-6, so that's the top group. 6 is a skill check. Okay, so Tiny Lund has the skill check, so he's got a 4 on his pedal. Rolls a 5, so he will not be able to do it. Richard Petty going after Dad this time, so he's got the red triangle, so if he doesn't pass his gas check, he's automatically out. He rolls a 4. A 2 is not able to pass dear old Dad. Here, let me pause this. I want to make sure that that's his dad. Hold on just a sec. Okay, I just looked at Wikipedia, and that is indeed his father. So Richard Petty not able to overtake Dad. And then what are we looking for? The skill. Yep. Jim Reed and Glenwood do not have that skill, so that'll do it for turn 34. All right. We got a duel number 9. I don't have any feuds going right now, so 9 is the number 5 cars in the middle group, number 5. And as I understand it, in at least in the Pioneer set, which this is kind of is, that you have to do the duel. So I'm going to do so. So Bobby Jones, the way I do it is when you're in the middle group, is that I give the advantage to the guy on the right, so he can go after this one. Bobby Johns goes after that one, and the way I do it is that whether they've got a chip or not, because they don't know for sure whether that person is racing well. I mean, they can kind of see, but not for sure. So at any rate, that's how I do it. So that's who they go after. So Bobby Johns is going after Curtis Turner. His gas is a 3, and he does it. So how about that? So Curtis Turner's been overtaken. That'll be a chip for Johns, and his escape is an 8. Oh, he gets a 10, so Turner's not going to be able to escape. So we'll put that as a feud, or a duel rather. 72A. Knocked out. Turner is 41. I think he was, yeah, he's 41. So I imagine that's probably going to knock him out of the race. So he's a D. That's a problem. We're in the bottom third. Yep, he's automatically out. So that won't carry over because, again, I'm not doing a season replay. So Curtis Turner, challenged by Bobby Johns, is out of the race. And Brownie King is going after Fritz Wilson. Brownie King is a 3, and he fails his. His escape is an 8. And he gets a 7, so he's able to hang tight. So, but Curtis Turner, and again, we decided he was number 41. See, Curtis Turner, yep. So 41, he is out on a duel. And turn 35. See, that was with 72A. Okay. So, Curtis Turner. So, Benz moves up. So, this was, I think this does cause a yellow. Yep, it does. So, everybody will automatically move up, and 36 will be a yellow lap. And then 37 is our next second to last pit. So let me pause this while I move everybody up. All right, so we're in a pit turn here, number 37. That's a 6, so that's the TV drivers. And there's nobody TV drivers in the middle group. Nobody in the bottom group can get a performance chip. So another uneventful one here. So 3 and 6 will change places, however. So Bill Carden with his 2 performance chips will move up to number 4. Speedy Thompson, who's a silver trophy driver. And then Joe Weatherly and Junior Johnson will move down. And then again, we don't have anybody to roll for our fast pit, so we will see if anybody in the top group can overtake Lee Petty. So it's number 4 with a 5, and he is 1 chip up, so he's able to take Petty. And then we rolled odd to see if they lose their chip together, and they do. So Jimmy Thompson will expend both of his on that one. Lee Petty will be overtaken. So that's pit 37. Let's see, he wasn't there long enough to get the performance chip for being in lead 10 times. So Jimmy Thompson, I think he's 2. Yeah. Number 2. Just let me double check that here. Yep. Number 2, Jimmy Thompson. That's the first time he's been in first. All right. So that'll do it for our pit. And so we go to turn 38. I think we got everything in order here. All right. So that's a 6-4. So that's going to be a duel. Number 4 is the number 4 in the top group. And that's going to be Lee Petty. So he's going after Glenn Wood. He's got a 5. He rolls a 5, so he's able to overtake Glenn Wood. Get a performance chip for his efforts. Glenn Wood's escape is a 10. And so he gets an 8, so he's able to hang in there. And so Lee Petty up to number 2. So Richard Petty dropped down to 7, so he's going after Jimmy Thompson here. That'll do it for turn 37. Turn 38. We get a 5-11, so that's going to be the bottom group, which is not as many as it was originally. But so we're going for the smart quality. Eduardo Debo's, which was interesting, his sponsor was Peru. So I don't know if that meant the country was sponsoring him. I mean, he's got the name for it, but I thought that was interesting. So anyway, we'll see. He's got a 4 on his pedal, and he's got the smart quality. He gets a 2. He's going after number 4 even with a 2. So that's going to be enough to overtake Marvin Ponch, maybe. So a 2. We're looking for the smart. Yep, so Ponch doesn't have anything. So Ponch is going to drop all the way. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going backward. We need to go that way. So let's start that over. All right. Well, he's actually the first one with the smart. So those 3 guys don't have the smart quality, so that worked out well. All right. So Eduardo Debo's from Peru moves up to 14, so he makes a leap. Charlie Griffith, he doesn't have the smart. Johnny Allen has the smart. He's got the red triangle and a 3 on his gas pedal, and so that's a 5 on the gas pedal, so he's automatically out with that red triangle. Let's see, he is number 8. Yep. So number 8, Johnny Allen is out with the red triangle in turn 38. Actually, 39. So that'll do it for Johnny Allen. So we're looking for the smart here. Rory Turner, his gas pedal is a 4. He gets a 4 after number 4 even with a 6. And so poor Mr. Peru, Eduardo Debos, is back down to 40th. So he was up there for a second. Bob Rose has the smart. He's only got a 2 on his pedal and a yellow or a red triangle, so that doesn't bode well for him. Oh, he rolls a 1, though. How about that? Going after number 2, Odd, which is Dick Jocelyn. He got a 4, and he's going to overtake Jocelyn. So Jocelyn down to 38. Bob Rose all the way up to number 11. So the smart, Jim McGuirk, is a double smart. So he's got the yellow. He's got a 2 on his, and he gets a 2 on the first one. So how about that? He goes after number 1 even with a 2. And that's going to be enough to take Fritz Wilson, because he's got the smart but no brake checks, and you get no bonus for being in the middle. And so he's going to get a second shot here. McGuirk is at the top group. He's got a 2. He rolls a 4. He's got a yellow, so he's not going to be out of the race, but he's not able to move up further than that. All right, so smart, Elmo Langley. He's got a 3 on his gas pedal with the red triangle. And he gets a 2. He's after number 1 even with a 5. So Bobby Johns is not going to be able to stand that, but he has the performance chip, so he will be able to hang in there against Langley. The next smart is Fireball Roberts. He's got a 4 on his brake, on his gas pedal with a red triangle. He gets a 2 after number 1 even with a 4, and that's going to be enough. So how about that? Fireball Roberts, who's a TV guy, is able to move all the way up to number 8. So that's cool. All right, so the next smart is, there's only one more, and that's George Green here in 20th spot. He's got a 3 on his gas. Rolls a 1. He's after number 1 Odd with a 3, and that's going to be enough to take Bobby Johns. So a little bit of shuffling there. So we lost Johnny Allen. 39 is in the books. And so we're down to 43, 44, 45, down to 46 racers left out of 59. All right, so turn number 40. And that's another, we did have a feud, but unfortunately 41 is out of the race, so there is no feud. So 4 is the number 4 in the top group. Number 4 is Glenn Wood. He's going after Petty. And again, he has the chip, but again, I play it like he don't know that, so he's going for it. So he's got a 4 on his pedal. Oh, he gets a 5, so he fails. His escape is 10, so he's probably going to be all right. And he is, so that's a failed duel. So he will stay where he's at, and Lee Petty will stay where he's at. That'll do it for 40. 41 coming up. Down to the last 10 turns, which would be what? The last, is it 10 miles? So is that 1,000 miles? That don't sound right, but at any rate. All right, turn 41. And that's a 310, so that's going to be the middle group. A 10 is the heat quality we're looking for. Junior Johnson has the heat. He has a pedal of 5. He gets a 4, going after number 2 with a 5. And he's going 1, 2, 3, 4. So Reed's got a 4. So Junior Johnson able to move up behind Lee Petty. He's in 3rd place. Again, the owner of the Budweiser Group in 84. All right, so we're looking for the heat. So Joe Weatherly has it. He's got a 4 on his pedal. Oh, he rolls a 6, and he's got the yellow triangle, so we'll roll for a problem here for Heatherly. 26, electrical problem. Row for repair. He's a D. We're in the final. He's out. So that will do it for Weatherly today. Again, Weatherly is number 41, I believe. Is that right? Nope, that's not right. Weatherly's in the 48 car. He's got 41 on the card, but in the race he was 48. So he's out with a problem with the yellow electrical. I think we're in turn 41, right? Yep. So that'll do it for Heatherly, as he is out with the yellow triangle electrical problem. All right, so 10, we're looking for the heat. So those fellas don't have it. Larry Frank has it, and he's a 4 on his gas pedal. He gets a 2, going after number 1 with a 2, and that will not supplant Lee Petty. So Roy Tyner has the heat with a 4 pedal, and he gets a 3, number 1. A 1 will not cut it, so they're all going for Petty and not succeeding. Speedy Thompson, car number 1, has the heat. He also has the red triangle with a 4 brake, or a 4 gas rather. He gets a 2, which is good. After number 3, he got a 2, a 1. So that's enough to do Billy Carden, but Billy Carden has 2 chips, so he will expend 1 to hold off Speedy Thompson. So the next heat is nobody. So nobody else in the middle group has that. So turn 41 is in the books. Jimmy Thompson still in first place. He's been there, about 5 turns. Lee Petty, number 2. Junior Johnson, 3rd. Billy Carden, 4th. Glenn Wood, 5th. Tiny Lund, 6th. Richard Petty, number 7. Oh, we need to move up here. So that wasn't a yellow. So Bobby Johns needs a 3 to move up. Gets a 5, no good. Raul Salones, probably mispronounced that. He gets a 1, needed a 2. And so he's able to move up to the middle group. We'll pause this while I move everybody else up. All right, turn 42. That's a 3-7. 3 is the middle group. 7, we're looking for the star. There's a problem in the bottom group when we are done. So again, the star, Raul Silones. Again, if I'm mispronouncing that, forgive me. He has the star quality. He's got a 2. He rolls a 6 on his gas, so that's not going to cut it. The next star is Speedy Thompson. He's got a 4 on his gas, but he has the red triangle. He gets a 3. He's going after number 1 with a 2. That's not enough to surpass Mr. Petty. Mr. Lee Petty, rather. And that's the last speed in the middle group. So again, I do notice that not as many qualities, so they probably didn't surpass one another quite like they did, like they did in 84. So again, interesting to see how the races are different, and they are. And you certainly see that in the game. 43 coming up. All right, so that's a middle group 5. 5, we're looking for the TV, and there's nobody here with the TV. Oh, yeah, there is. Fireball Roberts. I was looking for the yellow card. So Fireball Roberts, all the way up in 8th, has the TV. He's got the yellow or the red triangle. He's got a 4 on his pedal. He gets a 2, number 4 with a 1, and that will not be enough to overtake Wood, and he has no chips. So that'll do it for 43. 44. Oh, we rolled doubles 1, 2. So 2 is a rare play, but we do have a problem because of the doubles. So we will roll to see who has the problem. And we get doubles, so that's going to be Jimmy Thompson. When you get doubles, it's the leader. So Jimmy Thompson with a problem in the lead. 21. Cut tires causes wreck. Again, if you guys think that means a trouble, let me know, as I'm playing it as just he is wrecked by himself. Because it doesn't say, if it said trouble there, then I would say so. But just anyway, cut tire causes wreck, out of race, yellow flag. So that'll do it for 44. 45 will be a yellow. And he is out of the race. See, Jimmy Thompson. Forget what number he is. I think it's 2. Yeah. So number 2 is out with the problem due to doubles. Cut tire with a wreck. He was in first at the time, and that was turn 44. Again, keeping score is a problem for me. It helps me enjoy it. So I've kind of played enough that I've got a system of what I like to keep track of in this game and what I don't. So bear with me while I do that. So Jimmy Thompson out of the race. So, again, the way I play this is there's no challenge. So if you get anything on the blue die, you're able to move up. So, but this is a rare play, so we're not actually doing the challenge. So a rare result in the top group. We get a 14. Rain threatens event. Well, that's interesting. Roll 2 die. Add to determine how many turns from current turn the rain could begin to fall. So we're pretty close to the end here, so we may be all right. We get a 7, and that is out past 50, so the rain will hold off until we are done. So that'll do it for turn 44. And again, 45 was the yellow. And with the yellow, everybody just moves up. So Lee Petty back in first on turn 44. Let's see, Lee Petty is 42. Junior Johnson, number 2. Bill Carden down to 1 performance chip. Number 3. Glenn Wood, 4. Tiny Lund, 5. Richard Petty, 6. Fireball Roberts. I'm rooting for Fireball. He is number 7, and I'm going to pause it while I move everybody else up. Okay, turn 46, and then we've got our last pit turn. That's a 4-8. Oh, I didn't do, there was a problem I missed in the bottom group. I missed that, so I think that's been a couple turns ago, so I'll let that go. I need to make some kind of note on my thing here to help me remember that. As you can see, I've used different things to remember my place. With these games, quite often you kind of have a train of thought, and so sometimes my caboose gets disconnected and I forget it. So at any rate, somebody got lucky there in the bottom group on this one. All right, turn 46, and that's going to be a duel number 7. And again, I don't have any feuds. The only feud I got is the other driver is out, and he's not the fuming one. He is the fuming one, so there's no feud. So when you have that, your turn is over. So that's it for 46. So we got our last pit turn here. 4-11. So that's going to be the middle group. 5 and 6 will change places. So Fireball up to number 6. Go Fireball. Okay, and then we will roll in the middle group here for fast pits. Jimmy Reed with a 7. Gets an 8. No good. Ben Benz. That's Mercedes' little brother. Just kidding. He's a 3. He gets a 9. No good there. Bobby Johns needs a 5. And he gets a 10. Ray Salones needs a 7. And he gets a 3, so he will get his performance chip. Brownie King. And you got to love these names in the 50s, whether it's football, whether it's baseball. It's just, those names back then were just so interesting. Brownie King needs a 5, and he gets a 7. Larry Frank needs a 5, and he gets a 5, so he'll get his. Roy Tyner, he needs a 7 and gets a 12. Now, when you have and I may have missed this earlier, but if you have the red triangle, you also have to pass your fast pit. If you don't, you're out of the race too. And Pete Kelly is just a 2, so chances are he's done, and he gets a 4. So Pete Kelly is going to be out. Oh, so 43. So that's Pete Kelly. Is out with a red triangle on the fast pit on pit 47. So that'll do it for Pete Kelly for the day. All right, Speedy Thompson is the same thing. So Speedy Thompson, he needs a 4 to stay in the race because he's got that. And he gets a 6, so Speedy Thompson is out. Number 1, Speedy Thompson. Red flag, fast pit. Pit 47, so that's it. Man, we're going to lose a few here. Bob Rose, he's got it, and he needs a 2. And he's out. So I think Bob Rose is 30, if I read that. Nope, 80. So number 80. Bob Rose is out with the red. Fast pit 47. All right, Cotton Owens, he needs an 8, and he doesn't have. He gets an 11, so he won't get it. And then lastly, George Green needs a 4, and he gets a 7, so he doesn't get it. So we'll regroup everybody here with chips. So Larry Frank will move up. Raul Silones. Again, forgive me for mispronouncing that. I'm sure I am. Now you have to earn your way up here, as I understand it. So before I do that, let's do our last turn here on our pit. So let's see if anybody challenges Lee Petty. 5 with a 5. Fireball needs a 5 or a 4, so he doesn't have the gas to do it. And so Lee Petty will stay in first. All right, so Gober Sosby will move up to the middle group. Ken Johnson will move up to the middle group. Larry Odo will move up to the middle group, and then I will pause it for the rest. 3 more turns to go. We got Lee Petty in first, Billy Carden number 2, Junior Johnson third, Glenn Wood 4th, Tiny Lunn in 5th, Fireball Roberts number 6, and Richard Petty number 7. The Future King is in number 7th spot. So you can see here we're down to 41 racers left. All right, so this would be turn number 48. And we get doubles on 12. So that's a trouble. That's going to be our first trouble of the game, of the race. But we have to do our problem first. So let's see who has the problem. Number 5. Oh, Fireball. Oh, man. I was kind of rooting for Fireball. So anyway, he's got a problem. Let's see what his problem is. He gets a 25. Cooling problems, roll for repair. He's an E. He's out. So, Dad burning, I was rooting for old Fireball. So, Fireball's number 3. Fireball Roberts. He got a problem due to doubles. And that's turn 47. Or actually 48, rather. What kind of problems did we say he had? And again, I know it's nerdy. Cooling problems. So that'll be it for Fireball. Now we have our trouble. So Lee Petty is in our first trouble of the day. Lee Petty is an 11 escape, and he escapes. Billy Carden is an 11. And he escapes. Junior Johnson is a 9. He gets a 6, so he's good. Glenn Wood is a 10. He gets a 12, so Glenn Wood is out. Tiny Lunn is a 10. And he gets a 7. And Richard Petty, lastly, is a 7. And he gets an 8. So that's not enough for 2 yellow flags. That's just 1. So that will give us one more race. So 48, 49 is a yellow. So we got one more, because back then you could end on a yellow flag, as I understand it. So we did the trouble. There's not enough there to trickle down. Yellow flag means everybody moves up. So Tiny Lund to 4th. Cotton Owens number 5. Larry Frank will be 6. Some of those guys got some chips. Raul Sinonez. And then I will move everybody else up from there. All right, we'll see if Petty and Glenwood stay in the race. So Petty's got an E, so he needs a 1-3 here to stay in. And Petty is out, so that's it for young Richard Petty. And then Glenwood is a C, so he needs a 5, and he gets a 6. So both those fellas are out of the race. So 43, Richard Petty is out with a wreck. And turn 48. And Glenwood with a wreck. Turn 48. So, right there toward the end of the race, those guys are out. All right, so this, and then we had our yellow flag on 49 turn. So this will be the last turn. Let's see what we get. All right, so that's going to be a duel number 2. We got doubles. Let's see, so 6. Let's see, when you get a 6, doubles means, let me think here. So if you got a duel when you roll doubles, that means feud, and I have no feuds going, so that won't do anything. So the number 2 car in the top group, and that will be Junior Johnson. And one of the advanced rules is that if you get a duel on the last turn, you can go for the winner or for the leader, but they get to use their break. And Lee Petty has a chip, so I think he's going to be okay either way. So Junior Johnson, he gets a 3. 3 is not enough, and he had his chip. And so that duel will not be successful, and that will do it for the 1959 Daytona 500. So Lee Petty wins it like he did in real life. We kind of had a photo finish sort of with Junior Johnson as he was able to catch up to Petty right at the finish line, but Petty was able to persevere. He still stays in third place. So we'll say he challenged him a little bit before the finish line because he doesn't get to move up if you don't do that. So Billy Carden will still be second. So we'll say, again, each turn is about 10 miles. So he made a run at him a little earlier on, but still ended up third. So that's what we'll say in our imagination, which is why this game is so fun. All these games kind of are. So Tiny Lund will be 4th, Cotton Owens 5th, Larry Frank 6th, and Raul Silones came in 7th. Let's see if Raul, no, he didn't have a sponsor. How about Mr. Billy Carden? Let's see, Billy Carden was 39. Nope, he didn't have one. I think Junior Johnson had one. He's 11. Yeah, Champion Garage, driving a 1957 Ford. Let's see, Tiny Lund, with a name like Tiny, he had to have something. He's 5. Let's see, Tiny Lund. It's 5. Huh. I don't think that was his number in the race. Yeah, it wasn't. He was 88 in the race. His sponsor was Shook's Transfer. And then lastly, we did Silones. Again, I'm butchering that name horrible. I apologize. So, interestingly enough, the real-life race winner, driver, won my 1959 Daytona 500. So, again, hope you enjoyed that. I know I did. This game, this is probably the most fun I've had with a new game since I started Strat baseball when I was a kid, and that's saying something. I've got a lot of great games that are a lot of fun, but for some reason, this one has really captured my imagination, and it's been a while since I've looked forward to playing a game like I have this one. So I'm looking forward to get back to my 1984 replay. I'm 7 races in. Dale Earnhardt hasn't won any more races. He won the first 2. But he's still leading in points as he's done well in the races that he hasn't won. So if anybody's interested, I'll try to get another race up with that. Doesn't seem to be quite as much interest, in this game as there are in my Strat and APBA baseball and things like that. But still, my whole point of this channel is not to have a channel per se. It's just to share what I'm doing. And right now, this game is a lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm still doing my 1961 Cincinnati Reds replay on the side. I'll try to get a game up with that. Again, that's important. My goal is to try to finish a project, and so that one is still chugging along in the background and having a lot of fun. The Reds are in second place. The Giants are playing about 5 games over what they did in real life. And so the Reds, I think, were 1 game better. And so we're like 2.5 games behind the Giants, who are playing really well in the replay. So anyway, Lee Petty, 1959 Daytona 500, the very first Daytona 500 that was on the track that is today. As I understand it, I'll put the link for that in the description, along with where you can find this 1959 set if you're interested. Very well done by whoever did this. And so at any rate, I appreciate it very much, and I'll see you next time.